So we are starting the Python series in which we will learn Python from very basic, and gradually we will learn data science, generative AI, agentic AI, everything. So it's not late to start with anything. So if you have not started yet or afraid to start with Python, you are data analyst or anyone. So let's start Python step by step. So this is the very first lecture of Python. So you can just see, so I'll share this notebook as well. This is the print statement in Python where I'm just passing a string and it is getting print. Talking about the operators, these are some basic operators in Python, that is plus, minus, multiplication, division, and this is for exponential purpose. So these are very basic, and there is one special case where you can use this with string as well. So if I do addition of two strings, maybe 1 plus 1, and if I will just do this, it will give me result 1 and 1. So this is how it works here. Likewise, if I will do 1 into 2, it will also return me 1 and 1. This is how it works in case of strings. Talking about values and type, so every value has some type, and type is one inbuilt function in Python. Whenever you pass any variable or anything into this particular type function, it will return you its type. So when I'm passing this 4, it is returning me an integer. When I'm passing 2.0, it is giving me float. When I am writing data science, that is a string, it is returning me string. So let's learn about the basics of variable. What is variable? Variable is nothing but a name to any particular value. So this is variable. Let's suppose here 4 to 4 is written. How will I use this? How will I call this particular value? So I will give it a name. And whenever I assign, this is the assignment statement, single equal to. Whenever I am doing this, a variable is created. That is, a is created with value 14. So here I have written some examples of the variables message n and m. Let's see when I type this message what it prints. It prints this particular value. So this is being stored in message variable. Likewise, if I check the value, the type of message, it returns me strings. Same is the case with n and m, where the values are of type integer and float. There are certain basic rules for the variable names. So the very first rule is variable name can't start with a number. So this is not valid. When I tried to do this, it is giving me invalid decimal literal syntax error basically. So variable name can't start with number, however, it can contain numbers, and it can start with underscore, and no other special symbol is allowed, like at the rate or asterisk. Nothing is allowed except underscore. So special character allowed is underscore. So you can write the name as underscore variable underscore 123. These are all valid variable 123. So these are all valid names. Now, when the operations happen, you have in any expression, suppose 2 plus 4 minus 2 into 2 raised to the power 3, something like this is there. There are certain order which is being followed in every language. So the order is the parenthesis will be solved first. Parenthesis will be solved first. So this will be the first, and it will return me 2. Then this will be solved. It will give me 8, and the final operation will happen. So in final operation, what is this? This is the multiplication. So when I check from above padma, that is parenthesis, exponential, now multiplication and division, so 2 plus 16, now addition and subtraction, that is 18. So this is how the order is order of operation is there in Python. So we have already seen in case of strings, this addition performs the concatenation of two strings, the multiplication just make the replica, basically repetition. Talking about errors, there are basically 3 errors in Python. Syntax error is basically you are if you are not following the certain guidelines, like you check here invalid syntax error. So the guideline is not followed, that you cannot write any variable name which start with a numerical value. So this will throw you a particular syntax error. A runtime error, which is caused when you run any particular program, and in running execution of that particular program, something irrelevant happens, like you divide by 0. So it will return you the runtime error. Or semantic error. Semantic error is basically the logical error. So in semantic error, the program might not throw you any particular error. However, it will not perform the operation you are trying to do. Basically, the logic is incorrect. So that is semantic error, and this is the most dangerous error because you won't get any error while execution. You will have to find out the mistake in your logic. Not talking about functions. Function is basically the name sequence of statements. Name sequence of a statement that perform any computation. So basically, to make your code tidy, clean, structured, you write functions. Also, functions can be reused. So if there are certain line of code which are used, which might be used a lot of times in your one operation or in your code, so you just structure them, you put it under one function so that you can reuse this block of code. Easy maintenance. So if there are suppose logic changes and you have put the code into function, you will not have to make all the changes in 10 places. You just have to refer that particular place, that is might have you might have kept that particular line of code in some function, and you will just revisit that and make one change, and it will reflect in all the things. So this is the use of function. And there are some inbuilt functions as well in Python, as we discussed about this type function. The function may or may not have the parameters, so it may accept some argument or might not require some argument. So here type function requires this argument, for which it returns the result, that is integer, string, something like. So the second function is int. Basically, it converts anything which you the argument which you pass to this particular function into integer. However, converting this string into integer is not possible, so it throws you the value error. Value error. If I pass floating point number to this particular function int, it will return me 11. It will eliminate these after decimal digits. This is how it works. However, if I want to try if I want to do the reverse, that is, I want to convert an integer into floating point number, I will just use float function, pass this integer, and it will return me a floating point number. Now you check the difference between these two. In first case, it is a string, however, it contains the numbers. So this float function is able to convert this into the floating point number. However, in the second case, it contains strings, and it is not possible for it to convert it into a string. So again, it is throwing the value error, as it has thrown for the integer when we were passing a string into this particular function. There are some more functions like str, that is a string function, and when we pass anything, it converts that into the string. So we will check this. So what I am doing here is I am passing 3.1415 into the particular function string and assigning it to the variable b. Now I'll check the what it returns when I use type function. So it is giving me a string. So it has converted this number into the string. Now there are some inbuilt function, and in this math function is there. So basically there is a module that is math. What is module? Module is actually a collection of functions. So when you have certain, again the logical separation you want to do, so then you create the modules. To use any function of a particular module, you have to import that function. So you will have to use the statement import followed by the module name, so that you can use any function inside this particular module, that is math. So this module object contains all the variables and functions defined in this particular module. To access any variable or function, we need to specify name of the module, that is math, and the name of the function separated by dot. So I want to use this square root function from the math module. I will write math dot qrt and pass the value 25. So it will give me 5.0. There are some more rules, like you cannot do this operation. You cannot assign a variable or a value to expression. So this is valid if I try to assign an expression to any variable. This is valid. This will execute and this will be assigned to main. However, when I am trying to do the reverse, it is throwing me the error. Syntax error, can't assign to expression here. So I can't assign any value to this expression. So just keep this in mind. Now comes how do you write your own function, like you use square root or int function, str function. What if I want to write my own function? So there is certain rule which is followed, the structure which is followed while writing the functions. So def is a keyword that indicates that the function, it is a function definition. Now the second term is the name of function. Now again, the rule which is followed for the variable are same, and these are the same which are followed by variable name as well. So you cannot write the function name as this. However, you can use as underscore sample or or sample underscore 123. So these are valid. Now the header. So this is called the header. Yes, so this is called header. So a first line of function is called header, has to end with a colon, and then followed by n number. You can write any number of statements in the function. However, this indentation should be there. So this is of 4 characters. This is by default when you will write enter after this colon, it will create this particular indentation. So this is mandatory. Now, when you want to call the function, you will just use this name followed by the braces. Simple. So this is how you call the function name. Now, one more thing is there which I wanted to highlight is you cannot, if you can use single and double quote both. However, if you want to use this as a string, you just put it under double, or suppose just your string content something like this, you put it in single quotes. So this will work. Now, if you will check the type of function, it will return you function. So this is an inbuilt function, right? Type, which we discussed earlier. When we define a function object is created. That is a type function which we are seeing here, as shown in the above line. You can also write nested function. However, you have to keep in mind that whenever you are calling a function, that is, you are calling this function, the function definition should be always before that only. So it's like, आपको नाम तो decide करना होगा. For any individual should be there. Then you will give the name and then you will call, right? So the same thing is here. You have to define the function first and then you can call that. If you will try to call any function, suppose here I tried to call nested function, which is not defined, it will give me this error. It is not defined. So I just inserted the piece of code before that definition, and if I will call this again, it will work. Now, there are a few things to remember, like I already mentioned. The statement runs from the top. The execution starts from the top. So you have to follow this, that you have to write down the function definition before it is being called. The function arguments are assigned to variables called parameters. So basically the variables which we pass inside these brackets are called as parameters. The arguments is evaluated before function is called. So suppose I am doing this. Just suppose I'm not this. I'm doing 4 into 2. So this piece of code will be executed first. So it will be like this, and then it will return 8.0. So this is what that the argument is evaluated before the function is called. So the same is done here. This 4 into 2, 8. Now, if you are creating any variable inside a function or the parameter which you are using, like in the definition sample, I am creating a variable a, suppose. So this is parameter, or inside this particular function I am creating any variable, suppose not a, let's b equal to 18 or something. Then these are local. Local means you cannot use them outside the function. When we create a function outside the variable outside the function, it belongs to main. So basically the concept of local and global. So we will call it as global as well. There are two types of function now. First is fruitful, second is void. What is fruitful? Which returns something. So if I am using a return statement or returning something from the function definition, it becomes fruitful function, and void function is it will perform some action but it will not return anything. However, if you assign any void function to any particular variable, it will give you, so this function is performing the operation print twice, printing this two times but not returning anything. So I am assigning this to a, right? Now I'm checking the type of A and it is showing me none type. So this is different from the none we use generally. Now floor division and modulus. So basically when you use the division and divide this 100 by 21, it gives you the floating point, that is this. However, if we will do this, it will give you the remainder, that is 16. What if I just want this number 4 and not this complete? Means I want to the integer only. Then I will use this double, the division sign double time. So it will return me 4. Talking about the expression, now any expression can be either true or false. So we have two expressions, true and false. And type is when you just check the type of any expression, binary expression basically, it will return you the bool, that is boolean. So let's check 5 double equal to 6, is 5 equal to 6, false. 5 double equal to 5, true. X equal to 5, y equal to 6. So let's check. This is false, this is true. Let's check x is not equal to y, this is 2. And just note that there is nothing like this. There is not valid. This is only valid. Let's check this. It doesn't recognize the syntax and looking it as a bash command. See this. So this is again this is not valid, invalid syntax, this is valid, this is not valid. So and so greater than equal to, less than equal to, these are valid. Talking about operators, logical operators work same like we talk daily, like banana and mango, banana or mango. The same logic works here. When I'm using AND as the operator, when my both result will be true, it will return me true. If any one is false, it will return me false. Here, 6 is greater than 5, however 5 is not greater than 4. So both conditions should be true to return true. Or if either this or this is true, it will return me true. Not, it will give me the reverse. So 6 less than 5, that is false. And when I'm using not operator, it is returning me true. Same if I will do this, 6 is greater than 5, this is true and it is returning me false. So talking about the conditional execution, we will discuss this in the later videos. I hope you enjoyed this particular video. So you can follow us on Instagram as well, where you can learn using my reels. So you waste a lot of time in reels in the night. So while you are just scrolling Instagram, you can use my reels to revisit these. So the channel name is algorithm. Sorry for the bad handwriting. So the channel name is algorithm partition. SEN, or just remember gen.ai.weaver. So you can just use this there. Thank you for watching. We will upload the next video soon. Thank you.